So welcome everybody, and or see you again. Also, see you in the first webinar today. As said, Ilenia, we will conclude this series. For who is the first time that see this series, we will introduce ourselves. So I'm Simone and there is Dino also. We are founder of Automatizen. Automatizen is a AI transformation partner for who is thinking what is an AI transformation partner. Basically, is a company that help other companies to orientate in the AI world. We don't only develop solution and custom made or help them use tools that are already in the market, but as we are process engineer as a background, we also help them understand better how to integrate this in their processes, understand their AI readiness level, understand exactly which type of solution they need, or as I said before, made custom made for them. Today in this webinar, we will go deep more on topics that are a bit continuous of before. We saw how we use Claude especially as a tool, and of course we will continue with Claude. Also, ChatGPT have the same function that is basically Claude call it the project load. I don't remember ChatGPT how we call it this type of section because I never use. Do you know if you can remember me?
The name of the project load?
In the ChatGPT, how are named?
They're called either spaces or
Spaces.
custom
Yes.
GPTs, and then there's labs in Perplexity. There's 7 of them.
Exactly. So basically, every every tool have a specific name. We don't remember everybody, but probably somebody of you is already familiar with this type of functionality. We will see in particular how to build one, why are important, and how to use it in a day-to-day use. In the second part of the webinar, instead, we will go more to see something that is the system integration. So basically, how to use more tool in together for making the purpose of this webinar a presentation. That's something that a lot of you asked. Before going deep in the topic, as always, we do a short disclaimer on AI. AI, of course, is a powerful tool that everybody is using in today's age, but of course, is a regulated tool. Everybody have to respect the regulation of their own country and take in mind that what we show today is something that is important for you to practice for understanding better the AI tool, but is important also to understand that should be done in compliance with the law and without sharing reserved information and document with in the web, let's say. So that's also important. That's something that we help also companies do in a safe way and compliant. So basically, I will go a bit more on the first part of this webinar, that is the project load. I will start very fast saying also what is a project load before going on the topic. That is, you are not an HR manager, you are a human frequently asked question bot. So a lot of the time happen that in your job, a lot of people ask you, or in the HR department of companies more, ask you question all the time employees of the company. That's an example that what a project law can be used for, because it's something that do the manage the knowledge of the company, for example, that there is in documentation, and can answer potential question that an employee do. Of course, this is just an example, can be used for several other activities, but just for today, we will do this practical example, and we will show how we build one and everything. First of all, if you want, maybe Dino to give more context about the free part of the a project
Absolutely.
load and everything.
Sure. So when we create a project, what we're, again, a project in Claude, a custom GPT in GPT, and all of that, What we're basically saying is we're taking out of imagine a huge square that is the model. It can answer from the recipe from mashed potatoes to the battles of Napoleon to your HR policies. Okay. We're basically just saying, okay, forget about this 99%, just let's focus on this. We're doing this right now. And so we give it instructions to understand to only think down here, and also we can give it documents, and the context always remains the same. So as we said a lot of the times before, you were seeing these very big prompts and all of that, but they could be stored somewhere and then reused every single time. The analogy that we use is that, for example, when you're driving a car, you push on the throttle, on the accelerator, and the car moves. It's not your foot pushing on the throttle that it's moving the car. Is that input is allowing the system that knows how to work to then move the car forward. So the prompt that we give, the inputs that we saw last time are the foot pushing down. And then what's behind the project is everything else that allows the foot to transfer to the engine, and then the wheels turn. So the equivalent is the prompt that we will give in the chat is the input that we're used to. Then we also have some custom instructions that are basically the car itself. And so they're, again, a prompt, but that always remains the same, and that teaches the project what information to take, what's the output format, what's the context, and then if there's any document attached that we call knowledge base, also how to access it and what is the project going to find in there. So again, for example,
So,
okay, remember to close your microphone. Sorry. As we were saying before, HR policies, I upload the PDF with the policies, I teach the project how to handle it, and then I can ask you questions.
exactly. Basically, the instruction one is like a perpetual prompt that you spend a lot of time, is inside the project load. You can edit it, so every time you want, but it's something that you can really interact with the project load with a one-line request because you already have the prompt inside, so you don't have to worry about. The knowledge base usually is more a documentation. In this case, particular that Dino will show you are the HR policy of the company. Of course, everything we generated with Claude still, but is a documentation. And the simple question, we also created a document. I will show you very fast. We created a document that we will send you after. And this is everything that we use for creating this project load. This is the name, the little description that we added to the project load, the instruction that is the perpetual prompt that you will see inside after. The knowledge base document, this is all the text that are in the HR policy. It's very short, but well, just for the purpose of showing you. And all the queries, all the question that we asked. So like this, you have everything right down and you don't have to necessarily take note or do screenshot. So please, Dino, if you want to share your screen and maybe show
Sure.
the the section and everything.
Absolutely. So 3, 2, 1, and here we go.
Yes.
So everything is as we explain. So right, the place where you access projects is on Claude's on the left hand side of the screen. You have new chats, and then projects. So if you go in here, you're able to create a new one, and basically you just input a name, a description if you want, but it doesn't really make any difference. And then on this side is where the magic happens. So the instructions, as we said, it's just another prompt, but it's a prompt that just stays there and it's perpetual, and the system already knows that it has to behave this way. So again, role, HR policy assistant for a Malta-based company, da, da, da. Context, HR manager and employees in Malta, they need quick, clear answers about annual leave, sick leave, attendance and punctuality, remote work policies, etc. Style, I said it once. Output format, for every policy query, structure your answer as direct answer, policy reference, for example. Okay, and so yeah, but the system told me that I could. No, the system told you that this is the answer, but then also this is the rule that it refers to, and so you can go ahead and check it. um, Things to do, things to not do, and then how to handle if the question is unclear, if anything is very, delicate and it would require the review of an HR manager, all of this. So you upload this into the instructions. Again, this is the car. Then I upload the file, which is just a demo of the policies in this case. You see attendance and punctuality, remote work, discipline, parental leave, key contacts, and all of this. And then I'm ready to ask the questions. Just like last times, we already have the chat, but the prompt is not the full page that we were seeing. You are an HR manager of a company based in Malta. No, my employee has arrived late 3 times this month. What should I do? Easy. Do. Goes ahead. Thinks. Direct answer. 3 late arrivals. Issue verbal warning to the employee. Warning must be documented. Policy reference. Section 3. Attendance and punctuality. Late arrivals. Actions required. Escalation note. If the employee has valid reason, then do this. Can I carry over 10 vacation days to next year? No. Maximum carryover is 5 days. Policy reference, section 1. And so they're all questions that this is the last one that we did for demo purposes. But as you can see, I don't need to input all the prompt. I don't need to be extremely precise. I don't need all of that. And so it's easy to also share with the outside. Now, how do I make this available to my people? Option 1, we are using Claude as a company and projects can be shared. Option 2, ChatGPT, so the one from OpenAI, allows to share the equivalent of this also on the internet, so with a public link, or I need to build a little system that allows this to be accessible from the outside.
Exactly. And as you can see, now we give an example with the HR policies, but you have to experiment. This you can use for a lot of other usage. One thing that we said also in the previous webinar, we didn't borrow the instruction or the knowledge base. Okay, the knowledge base usually are documents that you have internally already, but the instruction, we always ask Claude to generate. Brainstorm a bit, we say what we need, we say which things we are the purpose of the creation of this project, and only after we ask Claude to generate the instruction. So it's not us that continuously and for an hour write down so big instruction. No, Claude will do this in 1 minute. We simply have to give the correct instruction, and it do great. So after we have simply to read and modify something, but that's something that saves you a lot of time. And I wanted to specify this because a lot of people still don't understand that you can use AI to write the prompt and not write the prompt with your hands every time. So that was just to give you a bit of context. I will go back to the presentation. Okay. And before switching to the part 2, just to give another context on how we work in general with companies, usually the things that we are showing you right now are more on the personal side. You should do this to learn how to use AI and everything, but use AI in a professional way a lot of the time is much easier because usually we do all the job. We create the ecosystem that the company have to work in. And after, as a project load have already everything set in, you simply have to interact with the system that know everything about your company, most of the time, not only about the HR policies, but about practical things that you usually do. We are working also, for example, in America with a company that do the request for proposal, the tender. So the system know everything about request for proposal, everything about all their past request for proposal that they did in the past. So when they are building new one, know exactly how to create the draft, know exactly what to put in every section, and people use this in a much, much easier way. And of course, this is something that we have to create custom made, with all the secure things in mind, and their certification, their regulation, um, everything. So that's another thing, but that's what is at the moment using AI in a professional way. What we are showing you right now is more for the purpose of using it. We use these things every day, but more on the personal side. That's very important to say. I will go on the second part of this webinar. This is something that is, first of all, extremely important that still people don't understand that they can use and let them collaborate more AI tool. For the purpose of this webinar, we wanted to give you the example on creating a presentation. For example, the slides of this webinar, we created with the same procedure that we will show you right now. Also for this particular procedure, we created another document like the previous one. Like this, you have all the prompt that we followed and all the procedure. So a lot of the time, I don't know if you are familiar with Gamma. Gamma, for example, is the tool that we use to create these slides. Most of the people do the mistake of, okay, Gamma is for creating slides and presentation. Let's start working about this presentation on Gamma. So most of the people write down all the prompts about all the things that they want to put in the presentation, all the stuff, and let a tool that is very powerful in creating slides do also the creative part and thinking what to write in the copy. That's totally wrong, and we will show you in general. That's an example, but I can do the same with other tool, no? Because we will go down. And if you can please, Dino, maybe give a bit more context on all these tools, because that was one of the first question that you asked us in the previous webinar. Every tool have pros and cons. Every tool have a purpose. So why using only one for every type of activity when you can use more and let them collaborate together? So if you want,
Exactly.
Dino.
And we're gonna give you information that are gonna confuse you more than you currently are. Because again, it's the paradox of choice. If I only had one, it would be easier, but now where do I go to? Last time we mentioned ChatGPT. It's the Apple of the situation. Very easy to use. Sometimes it doesn't really do what you tell you to do, but it's the main one. It's the most famous one for personal use. Absolutely. For brainstorming, absolutely yes. It has a great reasoning model. It allows you to speak to it just like you would with a person. So incredible speed. I'm not sure I would use it for HR policies or for important documents because it tends to forget information and instructions. Claude, on the other side, incredible for coding. And you might say, but I don't code. Yeah, all the stuff, all the presentations, all the interactive components that we built in the previous webinars are all it's only possible to do them with Claude, with that ease of use. It follows instructions very well. In the last few weeks, it's been working on and off because they're updating us so much stuff all at the same time. But it's part of the game. It's what you signed up for. Perplexity includes both of these models plus Grok from XAI, Gemini, Sonar, DeepSeek, all of them into one interface. And Perplexity was built to be the next iteration of web browsers. So the standard for Perplexity is go on the internet, look for updated information, and we're gonna show you also this in action, and then reorganize them using one of those models. Gemini, that some people asked last time, and we said just forget about Gemini, that doesn't matter, it doesn't work well. They came out with the new model last week, which is now possibly the best model on the market. So it's gonna keep changing. Just choose one, get attached to it, become loyal, and eventually they'll catch up to it. Gemini released the new model. Oh, I should switch to Gemini, but Claude 2 days later did the same. No worries, we're back to Claude. Okay, we're back in the orange. And then Gamma, obviously, for slides, is one of the tools that leverages AI for a specific purpose. We have Fireflies that leverages AI for note taking. Gamma does the same for slides. It's very interesting and very useful. Simone is going to show you. You can basically just ask a prompt, okay, just like you would on ChatGPT, but then the output is a presentation. You can see the slides that we've been using for these 3 webinars. They use the same colors, the same kind of image. It's all stuff that we set up in the beginning, and then Gamma follows. And so a very interesting paradigm shift from PowerPoint to this.
Yes, there are also very interesting tutorial on how to use Gamma on YouTube. So I invite you to to explore and see, because in this world there aren't correct or wrong information. There is simply the newest information. So always be curious in this topic. About this procedure and how we build presentation using more different type of tool. I will start saying that we don't start writing things. We start talking. We said also last time, we usually do, as everybody do, brainstorm, no, before doing a presentation in a cooperative way. No, you want to talk about the slides, you want to organize yourself. So usually we simply record our conversation when we talk what we want to put in slide 1, what we want to put in slide 2, everything can be very short. I would say here 2 3 minutes, like a prompt, or it can be also conversation that lasts hours. We did, and it works in the same way. So don't worry about the length. Don't worry about talking about other things in the same call. Don't worry about um, taking your time, saying other things. The AI know this, and it's pretty intelligent by this point of view. So this is the first thing that we usually do. So talk about the topic. A lot of the time, if the presentation is about something that we already talked in a previous call, I can give also the previous call transcription as a material more. After a lot of the time in presentation, we need to take some data from the web, something that we don't know. For this presentation, for giving you just the example, we decided to go on a topic that is the bias in HR interviews. Me personally speaking, I don't know if I have a lot of knowledge in the bias in HR interviews, so we went to Perplexity. And after you will see everything we did. So we use Perplexity to do the search with the prompt specifically to know all the material, personally copy and paste everything on Claude that do like the orchestrator of everything, like a project manager of what we want to do. And so at the moment we have a transcription from Firefly. We have potential data from Perplexity. Another thing that I usually like to do is provide to Claude also how to write down the perfect prompt for Gamma. And also from here, for this topic, I use Perplexity, because if I ask to Claude to write me down the perfect prompt for Gamma, I don't know how to do it. If I ask Perplexity, yes. So already you see why using a tool for a specific topic than the other. So after we will show everything and also the final result of the presentation. So at the moment we have all the prompts and everything. And once Gamma generates the presentation, I also ask, not only remember, you can always use your original and organic brain to do to take your consideration, watch the results, give feedback, edit. I usually like also to ask to Claude feedbacks of what we just generated. And a lot of time I simply take screenshot of every slide, ask, and it provide me maybe a new prompt for adjusting only that slide, the images, and a lot of the time it saves a lot of time. So I will show what we did basically. First of all, this is the document. No, sorry, this is the document that we created for this specific example. So, and we will send, of course, also this. This is all the instruction for the procedure, and this is the first prompt that we based on perplexity, and this is for finding the latest statistics, etc., etc. After, in the same chat, without even reading the results of before, just to let you see, without even interacting with the system on providing feedback, what can get out. So of course, I did this in 10 minutes from A to Z. I usually take at least 1-2 hours to create a presentation, honestly. So there is a lot of feedback work to do. And the second query that I asked to Perplexity is this. So what are the best practices for writing effective prompt for Gamma AI presentation tool in 2025? And also here I saved the result. And here it is the the chat that I did with Perplexity. So this is the first prompt, the result for the data for bias and etc. And after the long reply that I received, that everything pasted, I didn't read nothing of this, of course, at the for for this specific. Usually, I will suggest you to do it, of course, because these data are important and you will go in your presentation. But here I pasted also the second prompt for Gamma. I copy paste everything on the chat. That is this one. Yes. And here, as you can see, prompt for Claude. So I need to create a professional presentation and have 3 documents to share with you. As you can see here, I share with him the transcription that, of course, also this I generated with Claude, asking to another chat to generate the transcription for a specific purpose. But normally I would go on Fireflies, I will download the transcription, I will simply paste it here. This is the reply from Perplexity about the bias. And this is instead the how to create a perfect prompt for Gamma. So all in the same prompt. All these 3 documents attached, the prompt. At the end, I asked to tell me if he understood everything. So without generating a structure. After, if I see that there is a coherence with what I received as a reply, I say, perfect. Now create one complete detailed prompt. Normally, here I would not ask for a prompt. If I'm really doing a presentation, I would ask to have a structure with all the copy. Like this, I know in every slide what will be written. And I want to, of course, write down. Consider it that we already say that in the transcription for every slide what we want to write. So it take a lot in consideration, these things. But I want still to see what he write, if he understood everything. And after my feedback, I can give these. So I would suggest not jump directly to the prompt on Gamma and work on Gamma. No, I work on Claude usually. It's more intelligent and I prefer. So here you generate the Gamma prompt, all the all the things that was written in Perplexity before in the instruction. And this is the prompt that I received, basically, with all the information. I simply copy everything and paste it on Gamma. Consider that on Gamma there are other information to put, like which type of style of images you want, which type of theme you want to use, other instruction. These are things that I will really suggest you to learn. Simply start using the system. But in a very raw way, so without any adjustment by my point of view, I had how much was 9 slides that I asked, because I asked a 9 slide presentation talking about the topic that was written in the transcription that I didn't even read, okay, in the perplexity research and all the prompt that we provide. And he created this in like 30 seconds, this presentation with all the slides and everything. What I can do now, I can watch every single slide if I like, I like the copy. I can, of course, interact. I can edit everything like an editor, like it's a PowerPoint or a Canva. It's not so optimized, of course, but is really interesting. And for example, these slides wasn't like this originally. In fact, I will show you what I did. I did a screenshot. Let's see. Yes, here. Was it a bit different? I keep it just for example. And I provide a prompt that also this prompt is in here. So Claude confirm understanding copy these. Basically, this is to understand. Let me see. Let me find it. Here it is. The Claude refinement loop. So basically, when I send specific slide, I want to understand the correct copy feedback, not only the. I don't let only Claude work. I want to know also why he's doing a specific thing. So you say what works well, and I can agree and disagree. What needs improvement? Also here I can agree and disagree. And the prompt, the refined prompt that I pasted on Gamma. To do this, I didn't came back to my original prompt. It simply was here. I pasted the prompt here. I said specifically that I wanted to modify the slide number 2 because it's important to Gamma to know which slide you are modifying, and it generates this. Of course, this is a procedure that is not as simple as we are showing. You need to master it. You should be in command of everything and not let Claude do what you want. But this permits you to have the exact result that you wanted and you had in your mind, written with a much more interesting copy, written better, with much more better graphics. Me personally, I don't know to do presentation in a professional, a good way. Are awful the presentation that I usually did before. Sometimes I didn't even wanted to create presentation because it's a waste of time a lot of the time if you are not good in it, but are important. So now I use this procedure to generate presentation in a very professional and faster way. So this is a bit the presentation. As I said, if we use only Claude for making these, yes, Claude make presentation, but it's very difficult after to share it. Guys, on Gamma, just to let you see again, I can simply share now. I'm sorry if it's in Italian, my interface, but I can copy the link, or I can export this in a PDF, in a PowerPoint, etc. So that's much better than the Claude editor by this point of view. And other things, Gamma alone don't have the deep research. I cannot gather information. I should provide everything alone. Don't have a structured thinking. Also, the copywriting is not the best. It's a bit difficult. And Perplexity alone don't do nothing of this, do only the research. I try to use Perplexity also for brainstorming and everything. It lose context in 2 prompts. Is really crazy. After simply, I ask for a specific document, it generate me maybe in a text. I say, please provide me this as a PDF. No, very bad. So a lot of the time is, as I said, the tool makes all the difference. Perplexity is an amazing tool for the research only. If I want a document, but remember to ask to generate the document first, or you have to do everything again. ChatGPT, I'm not a fan of ChatGPT, as you saw in this series of webinar. It's great to start learning the tool, but really in a professional way is not really helpful, and etc. I'm stick to this type of tool at the moment because these are the tools that I always use. But doesn't mean that you necessarily have to use this. There are a lot of other tools, let's say Dino. Simply start learning, experiment. Once you start learning how to use Claude, probably you will use good also Perplexity after. Once you start using Perplexity in a very good way, probably you will understand also how to use Gamma. AI is like like personalities. So you simply have to learn how to interact, know what they want to receive, what they don't want to receive in a prompt, but you have to experiment. So that was the purpose of these webinars, let you understand how to experiment with AI, what AI can do with very low budget at the moment, because everything we show you right now, Gamma, I have like the $10 month subscription for generating these. Fireflies and Claude are all in that range of 20 euros, 15 euros. So with a budget of 30, 40 euros per month, you can really start learning how to use AI and do personal tasks. After, if you want, as I said always, and I will repeat again, when you want to use AI in a very professional way, probably this is not enough. You want to automatize your processes in the company. You want really to switch the way of you work. Probably you need more a company like us, that we are AI transformation partners, so we help companies orientate in this world. There is a company also in America now, is an HR company that asked to help them reach their vision in the next 2 years. That is to automatize fully the all the part of interviews, not the personal parts, but the all the manual part. Like this, they can focus more on the consultancy. I say that the HR world probably will switch in the future more on a consultancy part, no? So help companies understand where they have to find personnel, why they have to find personnel, which is the correct moment. Now, I'm not an HR specialist, but these are a bit the brainstorm that we are doing. Our role in this is to help the company as a department of the company to automatize everything, to reach their vision and their goals. So we are not simply a software house that do what the company asks to make, but we think together, we propose things, and is a type of collaboration that is much deeper and definitely help the company orientate with new technologies, because we are still active in the studying every day all these tools, because it's crazy how fast they get new, they develop, they add features, and we still have to learn every day. I can't imagine for a company that is not his sector to deal with AI. In fact, you see various type of AI readiness level in the world in general, of people that don't know even what is ChatGPT at the moment, of people that never used, about people that only use instrument and tool like this. So we are in a crazy era, and this was a bit our series that we wanted to show you. And now, please don't be afraid of asking us questions. We are used to work with different type of companies, different type of AI readiness level, so we can answer all your questions, all your doubts. Also things that are not necessarily correlated to the topic of this webinar, but maybe you want some information from us.
Exactly. And just to close this part, and then we will switch to any questions from you. The important part is that you start. And I always say fear is a mile wide. It looks like, oh, I will never be able to do it, but it's an inch deep. Walking, okay, it was only this. So, going from not using AI, having never opened ChatGPT, to starting, it's difficult. We understand. Start with something that is incredibly boring and draining for you, because it's gonna be the thing that if you manage to fix it, it's gonna be worth the 1 hour that it takes to understand how to do it. And so from there, you realize that, okay, it wasn't as bad as I thought. And then from there, you go and you build and you try and you test and all of that. Second, we see the difference between the people that in their life had the chance to use a typewriter and the people that didn't. We see that in different generations, there's a different predisposition to making mistakes. Me and Simone, you click anywhere, oh, whatever, it didn't happen the thing that I expected. I just go back one page, or I click Control Z. with anything, I can go back to the previous situation. I see in other generations that like I want to understand the implications of me clicking this button before I do. And so, in case you're this kind of person, just go on YouTube and write whatever you're looking for, and you're gonna find a ton of videos of people showing you how to do it, what's gonna happen, understand in advance, do this, don't do this, all of this. But then again, you have to try eventually.
Exactly. So let's give maybe some other time. If you change idea, some brave person maybe want to do a question, and after I give back the lead to Karen or Ilenia.
Even if you maybe don't want to switch on your mics, you can even also write in the chat and we can also read your question, and obviously Simone and Andrea will answer your questions.
As in the meantime, also don't worry to reach us. Also after the webinar, we will share with you all the information also of our website and etc. and all the material that we show you today. So definitely you can rewatch everything, brainstorm, maybe also in a second time or reach us and because of course everything should be assimilated. Maybe some of you want to try before even asking. No brave people today.
I think people will take your suggestion and they will try them themselves and then probably reach out.
Yes.
I mean, understandable as well. I want to thank
Exactly.
everyone for joining us for the last session. I also want to thank obviously Simone and Andrea for taking their time to make these interesting sessions as well. As we've done in the previous sessions, we will also share the materials that were used in this webinar and also the contact information for both Simone and Andrea, just in case you want to get back to them. Thank you so much.
Thanks to
Thank
you.
you.